Well, good evening, Maria. Good evening, dear friends from Greece and from Poland and from Greece. Hello. Uh, Let me introduce you to our Polish friends, Maria Trianta-Filopoulou, the chairman, the president of Aegean Wineries, and hi.
Hello. We want
Hello.
to
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you, Piotr. And we want to thank you all because you are here. And it's very honor for us to taste our wines. And we wait for you to come in the island. Okay.
Yeah, one day we come. That's sure. Well, that took some time. We started in October or something, and but no, this was a long odyssey. Finally, all the wines arrived to Poland, and I believe they are already in your locations. Hello, everybody, and well, we start with 9 wines. It would be 9 wines, and yeah, the brand ambassador now is making the presentation of Aegean Wineries. The second Maria. Hello.
No, no. This I make, not Maria.
Good.
Maria is going to.
That's
Okay. Okay. The
good.
Aegean,
Okay.
the,
So
the Aegean wineries. The islands are very famous about the wines, and we try to give the better things about all this. You are going to taste the wines from Limnos, from Lesbos, from Santorini, Tinos, Kos, and it's different varieties, but they are all Greek. And the winemakers pay a lot of attention how to grow the wine, the grapes. And we hope that you have a very good option to taste the wines we make. Okay. We have a long history about wine in Greece, and also our islands, they are very famous about that. You can see the pots that they transfer the wine during the centuries. The vinification lasts many years. From those years today, we have very modern and industrial wineries. And the most important thing is that the people that they are behind the wineries are they love very much the work they done. Okay, Weber, this is the first glass of wine. This is a Greek way to drink and to have a measure what they drink. And then we can see here is all the islands that they have the wineries in the Aegean Sea, from north to south. They are. We have also we make interesting work about wine tourism, and our islands are very famous about that. Yes. Samos is the land of Pythagoras and Moscato, of course. The sweet wines of Samos are one of the most famous wines of Greece for the Greek foreign wine market. The protected destination of origin is PDO Samos. The varieties is Muscat, and they are white. They are very famous. And some pictures from Samos. This is the vineyards in Samos, and it's very interesting to see that. This is the way they still do the Samos, the white, is the history of the sweet wines. And these are the modern wines in Samos. We are now in Limnos, the island of Hephaestus. In ancient times, Limnia Earth, as it's called, was one of the most important centers of Dionysian devotion. The protected design of origin is PDO Limnos. In the varieties is Limnio or Kalabaki and Moscato of Alexandria. These are all Greek varieties, and this is the land that they make the wine. And Lesbos is the island of poets. In ancient times, the wine of Mithymna was considered the nectar of the Olympian gods. Protected geographical indication is PGI Lesbos. The varieties is Hydriotico, is a very old variety. That's Fokiano, Mandilaria, and Moscato of Alexandria. And all we pick the most. It's very important that we pick by hand the harvest is still in this case by hand, all in the islands, in all the islands. And Santorini is the island of sunset. The vineyard of Santorini is one of the oldest in Europe. Protected destination of origin is PDO Santorini, and the varieties are Sirtico, Athyria, Idani, White, and Mavrotragano. The most of the wines that you are going to taste today is from Santorini, and the people from there, they can present better than me their island and their effort to make the wine, because this is the way they cultivate the grapes. Okay, it's different from the other islands. And they have very the production is very low from the hectares. And here is the way they make the sweet also. This is the Canava of Santorini. Icos is the island of Hippocrates, and the wine, of course, became especially famous from the time the Hippocrates, who used wine as a healic agent and suggested to drink the strong black wine. Protected geographical indication is PGI Kos, and the varieties are Asitico, Athiri, Malakousia, and Mandilaria. If you integrate Greece, in the end, you will see that are only left an olive tree, a vineyard, and a boat. And we can make Greece from all this. Thank you to be here. And I think that you are going to have a fun, you are going to taste our wines, and you have a pleasure about that.
Thank you very much, Maria. And this this poet was...
it's Elitis.
Yes. It's not the Odysseus from the Odyssey.
No.
It's a different one. He won the Nobel Prize, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that. Before me was just 1 year before. Right. Good. Our poet. So this connection, between Greece and Poland. Right. Okay. Thank you very much. And tell me, ungrafted vines. So all the vines in Santorini are ungrafted. There was no phylloxera at all.
No. This is Aftochthon. It's the only island. I think it's one of the most the ones not in Greece, in all over the world, that they didn't have a problem, and they protect a lot. They pay attention about the way they cultivate, and they want to save the way they make the wines. The first is the grapes, and then the wine, because all we know that if we have not good grapes, we cannot have good wine. But in Santorini, it's a special way to cultivate the grapes.
Good. Well, thank you very much, Maria. And well, let's start the tasting. And another Maria, and we start with Kos Island and the wine from that one Maria, presented by another Maria. And where are you, Maria? Maria from Crete, yeah. Hello, are you with us? Yes. Hello. Good evening.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Yes.
Great.
So this is
So,
your
good
time.
evening.
Hello, Maria. 8 minutes just for you.
Okay, I'll do my best. So, hello everybody. I'm very pleased to be here. Let me introduce myself. My name is Marietta Mniolaki. I'm an enologist and I'm brand ambassador of Ktima Krani. So I'm here to present you the domain, Ktima Krani. Okay. So first of all, let me tell you that Ktima Krani is a family-owned winery and it's located in the island of Kos, one of the Dodecanesian islands. Here's the family. You can see the whole family here. We are very pleased to just have the mother of the family, Mrs. Maria Triandafilopoulou, who was with us and just explained us the Aegean wines. Now, I need to start by saying that behind the wine, there is a family whose name is Triandafilopoulos family. The family is not originated from Kos, but they have started, invested, and working and living there since a very long time, and they had a very strong willing and they wanted to revive Kos winemaking and communicate the gastronomy and wine of the island. So back in 1996, so about 25 years ago, it all started by Mr. Antonis Triandafilopoulos, the father of the family, Mrs. Mary's husband, who, along with his wife, they started searching the soils and planting experimentally. The very first planting was in a very special place, which is over here, the place you're just seeing now on your screens. It's called Miniera Asfendoniou. It is the most well-known and famous part of the island that traditionally vine was cultured. It's just on the footstep of Dikios Island, and it is where the family started planting the first vineyard. After that, experimentation and plantings and works keep going. And some years after, in 2004, they managed the erection of the winery that we have today. So I need to say that it is a fully occupied and modern winery. So we have the possibility to produce on all possible modern wines. And today, the family owns a 15-hectare vineyard and a winery that has a capacity of producing 250,000 bottles of wine. We're not there yet. We're now producing about 700 bottles of wines, but there is a plan for the years to come. And year after year, there is investment to be made again for us to reach our goals. Now, I need to say here that 2 years ago, and with the next generation of the family entering also the project of wine that the parents started creating, they decided to to pass to a new era for the winery and to set the beginning for the 20 years to come. So the very first step on which we based on all our future step was to rebrand the winery. The winery that used to carry up until then the name of the family was rebranded to Ktima Krani. I need to say that akrani is an ancient Greek word that is no more used today in common speaking, but we can find it in some traditional songs in some islands on the frontier of the country. Akranis means the friend and the companion, and it is in some way related to the myth of Hercules and Halcyon, the myth related to the island of Kos, where those two heroes were at the beginning warriors and were fighting each other, and they turned to be good friends and companions. We chose a word that is based on friendship and companionship because we need to say that the family, one of the basic values of the family is hosting people. And we can understand that very well if we visit the winery. I need to say that it's a winery that it's open to visitors all year long. And since the very beginning, there are more than 700,000 people that have visited the winery. Every year, there's a very big amount of people visiting the winery and tasting the wines. And one of the biggest goals of the family was to host people and make them like friends by tasting and discussing about wine. Now, on this brand new era of the winery, we are now having on our collection 3 different series of wine. So the winery has 3 different series of wine to present today. The first line is called the Ktima Akrani series. It's a series of wines that are more fruity, and those are blends of international and indigenous varietals. The second series is called Regional Expressions, and the wine we will be tasting today comes from that series of wine. It's the line that presents only indigenous varieties. And we have a last series of wine called Single Vineyard Minera, a series of wine, and it's a series of wine representing one single vineyard, the first one ever planted by the family. Now, I'm no longer going to talk to you a lot about that. I'm going to hit the tasting of the wine. So you're seeing the picture of our regional expressions Malagousia. As I mentioned before, regional expression series of wines is the series of wines that we have based on indigenous varieties, and what we try to do is to express the authenticity and different characters of the variety throughout the special terroir of Kos. Now, this white wine is a 2020 vintage. It's 100% Malagousia. Malagousia is a very famous, one of the most famous white varietals of Greece, which was firstly cultivated in northern Greece, but now is cultivated all around Greece. On that wine, we have 70% of the grapes that come from clays and stony soils, and there's a 30% that comes from of grapes that comes from sandy limestones. So we have 2 different terroirs, because we only choose the most well-ripened grapes to go in that special series of wine. Now, after the fermentation and winemaking, there is a 60% of the final blend of Malagousia that is going to be matured for 4 months in stainless steel, and the rest, 40% of the final blend, is going to be aged again for 4 months in 225-liter barrels, new oak barrels. For both recipients, we are doing weekly batonnage, and after the 4th month passed, those 2 wines are blended into the final wine of Malagousia you're now tasting. Now, if you have your wine in front of you, which I believe you do, you will see there's straw-like yellow color. We have a strong smell of apricot and peach tree, we could even say. But there's a background of bread and a bit toasty, slightly toasted, that comes from the slight passage from the barrel. You have on the palate, I think you can see the creamy taste, which comes from both from the top protocol of the winemaking, but also from the barrel and the batonnage during the aging, both in stainless steel and barrel. And I think you can remark a very long and persistent aftertaste. It is a wine, it is a white wine you can enjoy now, but you will much appreciate if you keep for aging. And this is an aging white wine, so you can really enjoy it after 5 to 8 years from now. It's going to be giving a different character, a different aged character of a wine, but it's going to be as perfect as you need if you have the patience to wait. So I don't know if you have any questions.
Well, let's see in the chat whether there are any questions. No, just greetings by now. And tell me the price level.
This
Greece,
is
yeah.
On the shelf. It's going to be on about 12 euros.
12
on the shelf.
On the shelf, yeah, and right, 12 euros. Okay. Good. Thank you very much, Maria. Any questions? Yeah, would go lovely with lobster and pasta. Lobster pasta.
Lobster pasta, but this is a wine that could very nicely match with some Greek recipes of meat too, like how do we say that in French? Is agneau, but I now forget. Like
lamb.
Lamb, yes, lamb, but cooked with white sauce. It's very, very nice also. It's very traditional. It pairs very nicely, this wine.
Well, okay. Thank you very much, Maria. And what about the snow in Crete?
Well, I need to say that I wasn't in Crete during the moment of snowing. I was in Athens, so it suffers more than here. Okay. But I can tell you that here has been snowing as well. Not in town. In Iraq, I live in Heraklion. It was not in town, but all around, all the villages, it was full of snow. And kids didn't go to school, and we're not so much prepared in Greece to affront snow. It's not in our. It's not something that is common for us, so we're a bit shocked when it comes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Stay with us, please.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, thank you. Very interesting first wine here, and the last wine from Kos. Unfortunately, the next 4 are from Santorini and Petros. Petros from Venetzanos, Santorini. Hello, Petros. You with us? Petros, good evening. Santorini. Hi.
Hello, Piotr.
Hello. So, Petros.
I would like to thank you for the opportunity I have from you and also from your guest to
thank you very much.
Tell you some things about Venetzanos and also about Santorini. And I think I am the first speaker about Santorini. And what can I say at the beginning, Anyway, I will start from the history. I will start from Veneziano's family. Veneziano's family start in that kind of business before almost 80 years ago. It's necessary to say that Veneziano's family came on the island before 100 years ago from Egypt. They had roots from Santorini, so that's why they decide to stay for the rest of their lives in Santorini. The founder was George Venezianos. He had degree in chemistry and also diploma in winemaking. So 2 years after the World War II, in 1947, they decided to make an industrial winery, industrial for those years, I mean, in a try to develop the white local grape variety, the Assyrtiko. Now, the Assyrtiko is one of the greatest and known white grape varieties of Greece. Assyrtiko start cultivating from Santorini, and now I think there are a lot of winemakers who they are using this grape variety in their regions. But Assyrtiko was founded in Santorini before hundreds of years ago. Anyway, Santorini, it's a different place, and also it's a different place because it's a volcanic place. The soil is volcanic, and also the climate is very dry. So you saw before in the first pictures from Santorini, in the presentation of the Aegean wineries, that the vines has that kind of shape, the shape of the basket. We try to continue cultivate this kind of pruning because, first of all, it's a small part of our tradition, and second, I think it's the only way to have good grapes. I mean, healthy first of all, and of course good conditions and also good amount of grapes every year. Returning back to the history of Venezianos, I would like to say that Venezianos brothers, George and Janos Venezianos, remain in that kind of business for almost 30 years ago. And when they getting older, they stop working the winery, so the winery remains closed almost for 25 years. And now, before 8 years ago, the nephews of Venezianos, Nikos and Vangelis Zortzos, they decided to start again and open and reopen the winery. So the most places of the winery now it's some kind of a museum in hospitality department who have a lot of visitors every single year, something between 80 to 90 thousands of visitors. So the most of the places are some kind of a museum, but we have smaller places, but young one and much more modern than those years. The new winery, who we make there the wines now. So we have all the necessary equipment. I mean, stainless steel tanks, French oak barrels, and pneumatic pressers and all this equipment which is necessary for the modern vinification. And with that, in our target, if I can say that, is to continue the history of Veneziano's family, the history who started before 75 years ago. Today, we cultivated about 15 hectares of vineyards. We continue to cultivate the vineyards using the traditional methods with baskets and with the small grapevines in the field. We try to be very close to the biological cultivations of the vineyards, and also it's necessary to remain and stay focused in the local grape varieties like Assyrtiko, like Athiri, Latani, Mavrodragano. Mavrodragano is a red one, and also Mandilaria, which is also red grape varieties.
Excuse me, Pedro, 15 hectares in Santorini. This is a big winery, medium size.
It's a small size.
It's
a small size, yes. Actually, it's a small boutique winery.
Okay.
Our production in the bottles every year, it's about 50 to 60,000 bottles, making 6 different wines. And we continue to stay in that level of production because for us it's very important to continue make high quality wines in high prices. If I'm not getting wrong, Santorini, which is the most famous wine of Venezianos, it is about 25 euros per bottle in our retail price. As I said before, there are a lot of visitors who they want to visit the winery to see the architectural structure of the winery, of the old winery first. And second, we have the ability for this winery, we are so close to the caldera slopes of volcanoes, so we have a very beautiful view to the caldera of Santorini. And also it's a great opportunity for the visitors to taste, to pair with the local dishes, the wines, and also enjoy the beautiful view to the volcano area. Anyway, Santorini Venezianos, who we are going to taste today, it's Venezianos 2020. It's Santorini, it's my favorite, if I can say that wine. I'm in that kind of business the last 30 years now. I'm not winemaker. My profession is agronomist, and I have also the management of this boutique winery. So I think Santorini, it's this Santorini, it's 100% Assyrtiko. First of all, we harvest these grapes in the middle of the August of 2019. The age of the vines, the average age of the vines, it is about 60 years old. The number of the fermentation was between 15 and 20 days. And this wine is making in stainless steel tanks and remain also in the tanks with a very clear and light mud of the vinification almost for 5 to 6 months before we start the bottling process. I think, and if I remember correct, this wine, the 2020, remains in the stainless steel tanks for 8 months. That was also a small time who we gave it to us because of the COVID, and we had plenty of time to see what is happening uh, if we have the opportunity to use the time much more than the usual. So I think Santorini 2020 is one of the favorite for me. It has a very clear and yellow color. In the nose have the aroma of lemon tree and also flowers of lemon tree and jasmine also. On the palate has the aroma of the citrus trees, like all Santorini. I think have something about this kind of aromas, and also has grapefruit and key lime. In the mouth, it's very strong. We have the saltiness of the Assyrtiko and also the metallic taste of the Assyrtiko. And I think this wine it's excellent to pair with shellfish and also with other dishes with fresh fried fishes and also fava beans. This is also something like from our traditional kitchen of Santorini.
Let me read a comment
I
from.
think I spent my time, and there are also other speakers who wants to say about the wines.
Yeah, we have to finish. Unfortunately, let me read a comment. Goes very well with tuna salad with fennel and red onion and pickled cucumbers. Well, yeah, it sounds good, which we are now enjoying, and very fruity indeed, very Horeca friendly. Well, yes, we are all Horeca friendly, let's say. And thank you very much, Petros. So 25 euro, yeah, retail
Yes,
price in Greece.
yes,
Thank you. It's I like this green notes here. It's a very interesting wine.
yes.
Thank you. Well,
Thank you very much, Piotr.
thank you, Petros. Stay with us, and now Vangelis and Gavalas Winery, also from Santorini. Vangelis, hello. Good evening.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Piotr. Hello, everybody. So thank you for attending this presentation and wine tasting. So I'm Vangelis from Gavalas Winery. We are also in Santorini, in Megalochori, like the previous winery. So again, we have a family winery. We are one of the oldest on the island. Generally, most of the families of Santorini produced some wine in the past. Generally, Santorini has a really dry climate, so vines are one of the few plants that could survive that water stress conditions. So people here cultivated vines many centuries ago. Most of the families stopped that because of different reasons. So our family had never stopped, but the wine was mostly sold on the island. So when my father, who is the fourth generation and he's still active in the winery, took over for my grandfather, he started to bottle wine. That was 25 years ago. And nowadays we produce 11 labels in total. The annual production is about 80 to 90,000 bottles per year. Of course, we focus on Assyrtiko. More than the 80% of our production is from Assyrtiko, like I think the most wineries of the island. And then we cultivate some other more rare varieties like Aidani, Mavrotragano, Athiri, and Katsano. But these usually are for consumption in Greece because the production is pretty small. As I told you before, out of the 90,000 bottles, more than the 70 of them are from Assyrtiko. So now the winery has a history of about 2 centuries. In the beginning, it was just old canavas, old cellars, let's say, that the family had for the grape stomping and aging into the barrels. For example, right here, we are seeing the old tunnel, the old cave entrance, let's say, that led to the winery. That was the old entrance, of course, but we have kept it in the original way because this is also the history and the heritage of the winery and Santorini in general. And for example, the next picture, we will see the way that an old cellar was formed on the island. Rocky stones, dome, many times there were semi-underground in order to keep some more stable temperature and humidity because we have very high humidity levels on the island. So we will taste a varietal Assyrtiko. We produce 4 varietal protected designation of origin Santorini wines. In Santorini, in order a wine to be nominated as PDO by the law, by the legislation, it must be at least 85% of Assyrtiko. But generally speaking, most of the wines are 100% of Assyrtiko in order to express the varietal characteristics of that very unique, let's say, variety. This is not the main label of the winery. The main label is the classic Santorini, like the Santorini of the previous winery that you tasted. But here we have a more, let's say, natural approach. The classic Santorini that we produce, it's about 60,000 bottles. This label is about 4,000 or sometimes 5,000 bottles maximum. As I told you here, we have 100% of Assyrtiko. The grapes are sourced from vineyards in Megalochori. Megalochori, the village that where the winery is. And Megalochori, generally speaking, is one of the villages that still, until now, has one of the biggest vineyards of the island. Of course, these vineyards are properties of different people and different growers or wineries. So here we are speaking mainly from old vines. Most of them are more than 50 or 60 years old, and some of them older. We have a really good thing on the island that the vineyard had never been affected by phylloxera. Phylloxera couldn't survive at this hostile, let's say, soil and climate of the island. So there was no reason for the people here to replant the vineyard. We have uncrafted vines. Some vines may reach up to 200 years old, but they are just some roots, not all the vineyard. And of course, new vineyards are planted nowadays by the wineries. So here in this wine, first of all, we have spontaneous fermentation. We don't use commercial yeast. This is the only label that we produce with wild yeast. And usually we do just one or a couple of stainless steel vats by that. We have different timing, let's say, in the fermentation, depending the year, because we cannot guide or boost or help the fermentation. Sometimes, like in the 2021 vintage, it ferments for up to 2 or 2.5 months. In the vintage that we are going to taste right now, The fermentation was pretty quick for a wild fermentation. It ended in about 18 days, 15 to 20 days. So here the fermentation is done into stainless steel vats. Then after the fermentation, an amount of the wine is transferred into second and third hand old barrels. It stays with the lees for 6 months, and then we are tasting in order to see which amount of the barrels will return back to the stainless steel vat, what we like. So normally it has a small amount of oak. Here in this vintage, a 15% has stayed for 6 months into second and third hand oak barrels. The rest, 85%, only in stainless steel vat. Then after the final blend is done, we leave it for about 2 or 3 months more, and then we bottle it. So in total, we have about from 9 up to 12 months with the lees before the bottling. Generally, Assyrtiko, at least in Santorini, is a variety that needs time in order to express its characteristics. It's not a fruity, floral, aromatic wine. What we focus is the bodies, the structure. So we have to wait. We have to leave it for a long period with the lees, some period to stir the lees with them, some other just to leave it there, because that helps to give some extra structure and to balance the really high acidity of the variety, because otherwise the acidity could be over pronounced, at least in a fresh wine. So over here, we have, as we can say, high alcohol. Generally, as our Assyrtikos begin from 14% and above, high acidity. A really good thing about Assyrtiko is that when you leave it on the vine and the sugars are increased, it has the ability to keep high levels of acidity as well. We can notice a high amount of sugars. It's about almost 3 grams of residuals. The limit for a dry wine is 4. And that has to do with the spontaneous fermentation, that always, in the end, it's really difficult to convert all the sugars into alcohol. So here, if you taste that wine, in the nose it's more austere. It has some lemon character, some saltiness, and now that we are almost 2 years after the harvest, it has some flinty, wet stone character. But as I told you before, it's not what we focus on during the winemaking. We focus on the structure. So in the beginning, the first thing that we taste is that high acidity, and that we feel it like a lemon taste or a very refreshing on our palate. Then it comes to a round and creamy character that has to do with the least contact, and also the spontaneous fermentation gives out an yeasty character, and we want to achieve a long aftertaste and salty aftertaste. Generally, Assyrtiko, it's a food-friendly wine. It's really difficult. Actually, it's really easy to find combinations to enjoy with Assyrtiko from the island. But the best pairings for fresh Assyrtiko, let's say, it's always small fried fish, shellfish, oysters. Here that we have an extra creamy character and is a little bit aged, we can go maybe to something with white creamy sauce, even a white meat, but I would stay mainly in the previous ones that are better examples. So this is more or less of this wine and of the winery. I don't know if you have to mention something, to ask something, probably, that maybe I have forgotten.
I do, if you don't mind.
Please.
You were saying the with Assyrtiko grapes, when sugar goes up, the acidity doesn't.
Yes.
go
Oh no.
down.
Normally, when the grape grows in the vineyard, before it's ready, it's sour. You have very high acidity but low sugars. So the grape starts to grow, and when you go close to the harvest period, which for the island is in August, the sugars level increase, but at the same time, the acidity usually in the grapes goes down. So you have to find the balance which day you will harvest it in order to harvest in the desired. Because if you leave it for more days, you will not have acidity, so that will be flat.
Sure.
But in acidity on the island, it has a unique, let's say, ability that although you leave it on in the vineyard and the sugars get higher, at the same time it can keep that high acidity. It goes down, but very slowly compared to other grape varieties. So in the end, you get a grape with high sugars, so that will lead to high alcohol. At the same time, you have high acidity, so that helps to have a full body wine. And in the end, if you have high acidity, high alcohol, some tannins, because a tannic variety, although it's a white, all this help the wine to have a good aging potential as well. So with a good wine making process, you can have a wine with a really long aging potential. For our Assyrticos, and generally I think that for the most of Assyrticos of the island, we would say right now, for sure, you can age them for 5+ years. Some really good wine makings can go for more, 10 or 15, but not all of them.
Okay, thank you very much. Tell me just one thing, price.
Yes, so the retail price for that wine in Greece, it's around 30 euros.
13 or
30, 30.
30. Okay.
Yes.
30 euros. And the production is the production
The
is
production
5,000.
total for that one, it's from 4,000 up to 5,000 bottles per year. It's one of the small production. As I told you, the classic Santorini that we have, it's 50 to 60. But here, due to the wild fermentation, it's a little bit risky to do more by this process.
Okay, thank you very much, Vangelis. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. This was really interesting to get knowledge about Assyrtiko and the wine, of course. Well, stay with us, please.
Of course.
And Spiro Lemanis from Sigalas now. Sigalas, do I pronounce well? Sigalas or Sigalas? Well, you never know. Spiro, hello.
Okay. Hello, Piotr. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being with us tonight. It's really an honor and a pleasure to represent Santorini and Sigalas Winery before you tonight. So, first of all, before getting to Sigalas and before getting to tasting the wine, I would like to focus a bit on the region. Saying that personally, I'm not a local. So I came to Santorini, I came to the island to work for Sigalas, just because I was so impressed by what is going on this island in terms of wine. I believe that we are lucky enough to be the descendants of people who have struggled within the centuries to grow their vines on Santorini. And this is a 3,000-year-old tradition which was born out of necessity. Because when people came here after Santorini had been destroyed by the volcano, when people re-inhabited the island, they practically discovered that it's pretty tough to grow anything on the volcanic soil except for grapevines. So the viticulture on Santorini is a tradition which was born out of necessity, and our ancestors actually struggled to grow their vines on this harsh environment with a very dry climate and a soil which offers no water at all. So people on Santorini struggling to grow their vines, they, as Petros and Vangelis before me stated, they discovered this way of pruning that we still use today, which we often referred to as Kouloura, and we're talking about the basket-shaped vine of Santorini, okay? Which practically allows us to dry farm, to grow our grapes without irrigating the vines. Moreover, as the other guys before me said again, the volcanic environment might be harsh for people and might be harsh for grapevines as well, but it's also harsh for disease. And this is the reason why Santorini is immune to phylloxera, which means that we're still using ungrafted vines. Their DNA has not been altered for thousands of years. So from a viticulturist point of view, Santorini is actually a museum of viticulture. On the other hand, growing our vines like this means that by definition, we're getting very low yields. So we cannot produce much wine. And because, of course, all viticulture and harvest and everything else is done by hand, this up to a point should justify for you guys the high prices of the wines that you have heard so far, because I've seen that Piotr was impressed by the price of Gavala's natural ferment, which is perfectly justified for us because it's just so expensive to make this wine. Now, getting to describe the region a bit, the PDO rules. As Vangelis said, we are obliged to use minimum 85% of Assyrtiko in our blends. There are like 10 more other indigenous grapes that we still grow on the island, but let's focus on Assyrtiko tonight. So most wineries on the island, and at the moment there are 18 wineries operating on this tiny island. Most of these people, their signature wine goes for 100% Assyrtiko. On to Sigalas, just a few words about Mr. Paris Sigalas, who was the founder, and he was a pioneer for the local winemaking. Sigalas is the only winery which is located at the northern part of the island. The soil here is always volcanic, but it's a bit different than the other vineyards of the island, with its depth being, the volcanic depth is being a bit more shallow on the northern part. Mr. Sigalas is a man who studied to be a mathematician. He used to be a school teacher who went to Paris, France for his PhD and got involved with the French culture in wine. So returning home, he just switched and decided to be a winemaker, as his granddad used to be, being a local of the island, of course. So the wine that we are about to taste, you were lucky enough to taste Gavala's natural ferment, which is a really special and limited edition wine. The wine that we are about to taste from Sigalas is our best seller. This is our standard Santorini and the first wine ever embottled by Paris Sigalas back in 1991. So we have been producing this wine for a bit more than 30 years now. I have to tell you about Sigalas that we're currently producing around 250,000 bottles per year, which makes us one of the leaders on the island, but still a very small winery compared to big wineries in mainland Greece or the rest of the world. So this wine is our bestseller. We do around 80 or 90,000 bottles of it per year. And one more thing we should underline about Paris, about the founder, is that he actually pioneered the exports of local wine abroad, especially towards the United States, but the exports in general. So if our wines are available around the world, we owe a little bit to this man for that. So on to the wine itself. The immunity of the vines against phylloxera means that they practically don't really die on us. And that's why the average age of vines on Santorini is pretty high, where our vines have an average age of 60 or 70 years, which is extreme for other regions of the world, but pretty normal for Santorini. Now, in terms of vinification of this specific wine, it's 100% Assyrtiko, vintage 2020, from selected vineyards. About vinification, it's our standard label, so it's made in stainless. The wine ferments and matures on the lees for 6 to 8 months. On the sheet you have in front of you, we're saying 3 months, but that's only for the American market, because the Americans usually demand their wine a bit earlier than the rest of the world. So typically, and that's the case for the wine that you have in front of you, we mature it for no less than 6 to 8 months on the lees altogether, of course, with a batonnage process and so on. So local wines, including our own, are well known for their extremely high acidity. Vangelis before me explained this very well. Assyrtiko is one of those white wines which features extremely high alcohol and acid altogether. Typically, you would expect high acidity from colder regions of the world, like a good Riesling from Alsace, for example. But these wines usually have lower alcohol than ours. Assyrtiko typically combines both acid and alcohol at high levels, something which results in full-bodied wines, strong wines known for their austerity and not for their fruity character. So Assyrtiko is typically a beast. You can take this grape, grow it anywhere in the world. They do grow Assyrtiko in the rest of Greece right now, even in the States or Southern Australia. Jim Barry does an excellent Assyrtiko over there. It's practically a beast. You can grow it anywhere in the world and produce excellent quality wines. These wines will be very good, almost all of them, but they will lack the typicity of the volcanic terrain, because you can carry the grapes from Santorini, but you cannot carry the character of the volcanic terrain. So tasting the wine, you should be able to experience what we call minerality. Mineral is not an official word for the taste, but it pretty much gives you a good idea about what you should be expecting from a volcanic wine, that the taste of the pebble that you have just gotten out of the sea, salinity if you prefer. Low fruity character, maybe some citrus fruits, and if aged, you will be able to taste some honey, maybe, or some peach. Typically, Santorini's peak at around 5 to 7 years of age, but most of them can age for like 10 years, no problem. High alcohol and acid, preserving the wine through time. So that would be all for me. Thank you for listening to me. If there are any questions, I would be more than happy to answer.
Thank you, Spiro. Well, I have traditionally one question about the price. Yeah.
So this being our standard Assyrtiko, it retails for €26.04 in Greece.
4 cents.
Well, yeah, we have to be precise, don't we?
Yeah. Okay, so the owner used to be a decent mathematician, but came to France and then
got converted to pick up on the business of his granddad, who had some vineyards on Santorini. So he started vinifying wine at his home, and before building the actual winery where I'm sitting in, back in 1991. So last year we celebrated 30 years of history.
Okay, and Assyrtiko, it seems Assyrtiko has some superpowers,
Well, if you ask me, I'm a wine lover. I'm not a local. I don't see things in a fanatic way. I love wine. So from my point of view, this thing is a beast. You can actually enjoy it with most types of seafood, which is the typical pairing for Assyrtiko, like oysters and maybe recipes that include lots of acid, like a fish ceviche, for example, which is Peruvian, but it's actually become like local cuisine here in Santorini.
Okay.
But you can also pair it with practically any type of meat except beef. So and maybe thick sauces, some traditional Greek spreads like fava or things like that, creamy dishes. That full body and acid of Assyrtiko can actually support a large variety of dishes. So that's why it's considered to be such a culinary wine.
Yeah. And where from are you coming, Spiro?
Well, I was born and raised in Athens, and I'm originally a computer engineer who has changed his mind and wanted out of the big city. That's it.
Okay. Good. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Spiro.
much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was really interesting and great. Thank you. And yes, now we are looking for someone from Butaris, but should be a Vasilis or Vasilis or wherever to put the accent. But anyway, are you with us, Vasilis? Vasilis from Butaris. Another Santorini wine to be tasted. No Vasilis with us, unfortunately. So perhaps it's time for Evangelia. If Vasilis is not present. Evangelia, hello. Could you join us? And we try to find the lost Vasilis. Hello. Hi.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can see you. And let me
Okay.
just change the slides. And this is you. Hello. So
Hello, I'm Evangelia. I'm the enologist in Baptistis Winery. The Baptistis Winery is in Tinos. Is in the village Steni. The owner is Moraitis Baptistis, and his dream was to make wine from his family in his old vineyards that he gained from his grandfather. So in 2013, he started to planting those vineyards with 4 varieties, 2 white varieties and 2 red varieties. The white varieties are Assyrtiko and Monevassia, and the red varieties are Mavrothyriko and Mavrotragano. So that is the first step. In 2016, he started producing 2 labels, the Baptistis White that you tasted, and the Baptistis Red, that is 2 wines that they made from the 2 varieties of each color. It's a blend wines. That it was the start. After 2 years, in 2019, he wanted to build the wine industry. So he made 3 new labels: the Antara, that is 100% Assyrtiko, the Altana, that is 100% Mavrothyriko, and it's our rosé wine, and also the sweet wine of us that it's called Mastrogianni, and it's from the variety Rhoditis. Those are our labels. We have 6 labels, but in 2020 he wanted to turn into the local varieties a little bit and to see the potential of those varieties. So we make an attempt to produce wine from a local variety that is called Potamisi. So in 2020, we have one more label that is called Potamisi, and it's our newest label. And also, another label that we produce is 100% Mavro Tragano. The winery is like a small boutique. We produce around 12,000 bottles, so we are really small. We don't have a lot of bottles to produce. We have one goal to reach, that is to produce 30 or 35,000 bottles. Now, as you can see, we built our new tasting area, that in the summers it will be a real good place with a great view to join us to enjoy the wine. That. Now about the wine that you tasted, it's the Baptist's White. It's Assyrtiko and Monevassia. It's 70% Assyrtiko, so it has the character of Assyrtiko, but it has also 30% of Monevassia. It's a really fresh wine. It's like an aperitif wine. It has the acidity of Assyrtiko. It has a little bit of the minerality that the Assyrtiko gives. And also, it has more sweet aftertaste, that it balances the acidity of Assyrtiko, and it makes it more fresh as a wine. This wine, we vinified the variety separately in 18 degrees Celsius. And after the fermentation it was done, we blended them together, and they remained in the stainless steel tanks for 6 months, and they waited on the bottle for another 4 months, and then we release it on the market. That the maturing in this period of the maturing, it gives into the wine more structure, and the wine, it was more ready after 1 year of keeping it in our warehouse. That our wine is a fresh wine. It goes very well with dry fish, with plate of cheeses, and it's a really good companion for the summer night of holidays. That's all for me. If you have any question about the wine, about the winery.
Hello. Hi. Sorry.
Hello, hi.
We are desperately looking for Vasilis. Yeah, he's calling me right now. Just tell me the price of the wine.
Sorry, the price about this wine is in the retail is around 19 euros. Yes, okay. Yes, it's very nice, this wine. It's really enjoyable, and it's really fresh, and you can easily drink it everywhere.
Terribly sorry, Evangelia,
No,
because
it's okay.
we lost Vasilis, and now he's back. Yes,
It's okay.
but lovely terrace. I just coming back to the winery.
Yes,
Really
yes,
something. Yes,
this
even
is
my
our
wife.
newest addition into the winery, and we are really looking forward to do great things in these terrains.
Yeah, so I hope this season will be again, like before the war,
Yes.
like before the
Yes,
COVID.
we hope.
Yeah, and very nice wine. I really appreciated this wine, and what we have here. We enjoyed this wine very much. Yes, me too, I must say. Yes, beautiful winery. Well, beautiful. Yes, this is a beautiful winery. Thank you, Evangelia. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Just for my notes, the price once again, as I
It's 19 euros.
19 euros. And the scale, the how big is the production
Of this wine or in general?
of this wine?
Of this wine is around 4,000 bottles.
4,000. Right.
Sorry,
Okay.
not 4,000, 1,000 bottles.
1,000. Okay.
1,000.
1,000 bottles only. Okay. Well, tell me, as you are enologist, tell me the average. Well, if the grapes are so old, or if the vines are so old, 60 or something
Yes.
Years old. Hi, good to see you, Vasilis. But tell me, what is the how many grapes in kilograms per vine is an average here?
Here in Tinos, we have, because the vineyards, they are really young. This wine that you drink is only for 6 years old vines.
Okay, sorry.
We don't have a lot of percentage. We are at 500 or 600 kilos per hectare.
Okay, yeah, sorry, yes, goes too fast. Yeah, thank you very much, Evangelia.
Thank you very much.
That
Have
was
a
a
nice
pleasure,
day.
and thank you, and thank you for
Bye.
your help. Yes, and now Vasilis, the missing one from Santorini, the last one from Santorini. Hello, Vasilis. You've been here. Come back, please. Yes.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, so this is your time, Vasilis, and Butari Winery, and wine number 5 coming after wine number 6.
Okay. Hello, nice to meet you all. My name is Vasilis. I'm from Greece, and I will introduce you to the Butari Winery. We have 6 wineries all over Greece. This winery is on the island of Santorini. It was built in 1989, one of the first modern wineries, as you can see from the architecture of the building. It's considered to be one of the most iconic wineries with unique architecture in terms of Santorini architecture. This is the dome where you can see. And inside the dome, we have very nice presentations of our wines with a magnificent view. And the Butari history on the island begins in 1989, where Dr. Yannis Voyagis was one of the first enologists who came, let's say, who boarded the island and started viewing the potential that this grape Assyrtiko has, a unique potential. If it was vinified correctly with modern winemaking techniques, it could produce one of the world wines, world wines. And by now, you all know that Santorini wines, Assyrtiko wines from Santorini are so unique to the terroir, especially with these woven baskets that produce the magnificent grapes. And right now, I believe that in most of the top-end restaurants in the world, we have at least 1 or 2 Santorinis available. The wine itself that you're going to taste now is Santorini 100% Assyrtiko. We produce it from selected producers from the island, and its uniqueness has to do with the flavor profile that it gives a very typical Santorini. It gives out the very good minerality. It gives the acidity is there, the backbone is there, and also it's quite fruit driven for a Santorini, where you get a lot of citrus aromas, which makes the wine much more complex and complicated. The vintage is 2020. It's 100% tank fermented, and about 3 to 4 months a bâtonnage on the lees to get that extra volume. So I hope you enjoy the wine, actually.
Well, thank you very much, Vasilis. Tell me the price.
The price is around, from the winery, the price should be around 15 to 18 euros,
15,
approximately.
20.
Yeah, approximately.
15, 20. Okay.
That's the problem when you ask a winemaker about the prices. Usually it's the salespeople.
Okay. So coming back with my question, which I asked previously, what is an average per vine in Santorini? How many kilograms of grapes you pick?
It's actually very, very, very low. The yields are very low in Santorini.
The yields.
It's about we do it in strema in Greece, about 300 kilograms per strema. So it's about 30 kilograms per hectare, if I'm doing the math correct.
Okay. Spiro road. Yes, this is 3 per hectare.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is really low. Yeah.
It's really low, and that is why the wines are expensive. The quality is there. The concentration of the flavor is there. And on a good year with a lot of rains, you might go up to 400 or 500 per strema. So, yeah.
Good. Really. Thank you very much, Vasilis. I'm happy we found you finally.
Yes.
And I like your hair. And it's like mine. Yeah?
Yes. It's for extra light.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And stay with us. Any
Okay.
questions?
Yeah, I'll be glad to answer.
Stay with us. And now, just let me not to mistake Pantelis and Limnos organic wines. Pantelis from Tsivolas. Pantelis Tsivolas, yeah. Tsivolas wine. Hello? Pantelis. This is difficult to put the accent. Yes. Hello. I can hear you. I cannot
Can you hear me? And now you can see me well, eh?
Yes, you appeared. Yes.
Hello, Piotr.
Hello.
How are you, everybody? Hello. So, we are Limnos Organic Wines, a boutique winery in the last island in North Aegean. The island is the island of Hephaestus, the god of the 12 gods, Hephaestus. The gold is a volcanic island. So all our wines are organics and volcanic from the volcanic fields. So you can see some pictures of our vineyards, and I prefer to show you because I like to show you for me a very fascinating semi-dry rosé wine, which is from the two varieties of our island. Is from Limignon and the Muscat of Alexandria. So this semi-dry rosé wine. Now you can see some photos of our winery. It's a family winery. Me and my brother and my cousin, we produce these wines. and we like to make a wine. You can drink it without food, and if you like, you can compare with a lot of things and foods generally. So we tried to make this wine from the combination of Moscato Alexandria and Limno. Limno, we can say Limno is the most ancient Greek and not only Greek variety, because you can hear Limno in Homer and in Aristoteles. Aristoteles said, if you like to drink a very nice wine, you can try Limno, Limnos Island. Not me, Aristoteles.
Sorry, Pantelis. Just let me ask you one question. So you produce the rosé wine by from two different color of grapes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is not a Saignon. This is not a short maceration of the red.
Yes. Look, it's co-vinification. It's because my English is not so good. Is co-vinification. It's together the two varieties. Together. It's from Limno and Moscato of Alexandria. So it's 80% of Moscato of Alexandria and 20% from Limno. This is a very popular wine, not only here in Greece, but we can send this wine until till Japan, in France, in Italy, in Germany, and some other countries. It's very popular wine because they like very much, and not only from the women and for men too, because it's not you can drink it I said before, and without food. That's because it's a semi-dry wine, but it's not, as you can see here, it's not sweet. It's semi-dry, a little bit in the taste, sweet. The color is very very nice, and if you can drink it, you can feel in your mouth. Rodon is the name. Rose is the name. You can smell roses, and you can feel aromas of strawberry and caramel in your mouth, and you can in the last you can feel a little bit the sweet, a little bit, just a little bit. So because not only here in Greece, in general, people likes to drink not flat wines. They like to drink lovely wines. They like to drink something tasty. Yeah, I think the last 5 years, and the last 5 years, rosé wines generally takes a big place of the sales So we are very satisfied about the sales of this wine, and generally we are not so our island is not with a lot of tourism and not with a lot of people. The fields are very old, and we are very popular. Limnos Island is very popular for the white wines, but this wine takes more now sells from the white wine. We sell more rosé wine than white. We tried to have not expensive prices. As you can see, this wine takes the first gold medal in France in 2018, the first gold medal in Japan for 2020, and a lot of gold medals in Germany, Belgium, and etc. So we tried to have not expensive prices, because we make the last 2 years we had about 120,000 bottles we sold this number of bottles, and we are very happy about that. And we think that a Greek good wine must not be very expensive if you like to sell more numbers and if you like to go abroad. So we tried to have the price here in Greece. Here in Greece, you can find in 10 euros.
10 euros.
Yes, in 10 euros, from 9 until 10. From 9 euros until 10 euros. And if we like to sell it out of Greece, the price it's about 650.
Okay.
So
yeah,
we decide to sell in low prices because we like to sell more bottles, because we have a lot of fields. Limnos is the name of Limnos is the island of fields. In the history, you can see in Troy the ships starts first in Limnos and take the wines to go in the war of Troy. And you can see Limnos Island in Homer, Odysseia. You can see Limnos is the most. Limnos Island was the only one island who was friendly with Athens, because Athenians can marry Limnos women, and Limnos women can marry Athenia in the history, because they like this Athenian people. They like this island for the grapes, from the wine. They take the wine, so it's something
why
like the
they married.
brotherhood. Yes, it's like something like this. But because we have a lot of fields and we have a lot of grapes, we tried to have very tasted wines, but not in a very expensive price. That doesn't mean that the wine is not good. That means that we tried to make wines without expensive prices.
Thank you very much, Banderis.
Thank you very much.
Now you conquered the hearts of Japan women.
Yes, all Japan women prefer this. The women said in the Japan that this is the most beautiful, the most tasty, and generally the bottle beautiful wine for the 2020. Japan people likes this wine, and I think generally the Greek wines they like. The Japan people they like Greek wines generally.
Well, happy you.
Yes.
Happy you. I believe also the Polish women would fall in love with this.
A lot of Polish
women
people comes to the Limnos Island because they like it very much, because they like to. Polish people, I've never been there, but I think they like very much cheese and wine. I don't know why. They like to taste cheese from the Limnos Island and the wines too.
The cheese, yeah.
And the cheese, yes.
Okay, yeah. And the landscape is very picturesque, yeah. The landscape, beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Banderis.
We expect you to come in our island so I can show you around everything.
One day we all come. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, and the comments on the wine, great for aperitif, yeah. And
yes.
Well, yeah, fine. Great. So now that's it for whites and rosé, and now we start with the reds. And first with the reds is Nikki. Hello, Nikki.
Hello, Pierre.
Hello, good evening. And yes, first red wine and Nikki Vakakis from Vakakis domain. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
correct.
on, Nikki, please.
Okay, first of all, my greetings from our island, Samos. As you see, Samos is one island near to Minor Russia, yeah, in the middle of Aegean Sea. Okay, our winery is in the north west part of Samos, northwest part of Samos, yes, and established, okay, in 2013. But okay, Samos has one very strange status. First of all, to recommend myself, I was an officer in Greek Special Force, and when I retired, I decided to get to winemaker. But in Samos we did very strange for you and for all status. That means from there was one law from 1934 was prohibited to people general to produce to establish private wineries. Or in Samos for 85 years only we have one winery, one cooperative winery, and as you understand, it was very difficult to permit to us to make wine. For this reason, we start a strong, very hard, strong battle against Greek authorities to have this right from 2005, and we finished get free 2017. It's a little difficult to understand what's happened, but it was very difficult, and because they have as excuse that they wanted to protect the famous name of Samos. Samos is on video, of course, wine, and Samos is well known, special for sweet wines. Samos sweet wines are famous in all the world. But except sweet wines, we make and we produce different wines, and for this reason I choose to send for tasting something different, one red wine from one unknown Greek local variety that called Avgustiatis. Avgustiatis. This is the name of Greek unknown variety, as you see. Yeah. Here, first of all, biomethods, we cultivated all our vineyards. We cultivate only Greek local varieties or varieties that has their origin from Aegean Sea. For this reason, we cultivate and we produce wines from Muscat, white, okay, Assyrtiko. Until now, we make wines only from these two varieties, and in the future from Vidiano. We cultivate Vidiano, but we don't have wine until now. Red varieties, we have Avgustiatis, as I show you, Phokianos, and Black Muscat. We produce all kinds of wine, dry, semi-sweet, sweet, and sparkling. in our winery, we produce our wines, about 70,000 bottles, all for all our labels. Okay, from red dry wine that we sent to you, we produce about 8,000 bottles. But at the same time, in our winery, we produce sweet Vindeliker wine Samos from from big companies like Cavino SA. It's one of the biggest Greek companies, and this wine export in Europe, especially in Germany, Holland, maybe in Poland. I don't know exactly, but we produce also sweet wine from Metaxa SA, the famous brandy, because Metaxa, for example, this is the Metaxa, yes, because Metaxa brandy based on Samos Vindeliker sweet wine. Totally, for this two companies, we produce about 1,005,000 liters for both of them, because huge quantities for them. But with our label, we produce about 70,000 bottles. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you very much. Tell me the price of this wine.
Yes, the price for export is about 6 euros. 6 euros, and the retail price is double time, 12 euros in Greece, and 6 for when we want to export out of Greece. This wine have, of course, specification. We aged for about 9 to 12 months in oak, France oak barrel. Yes. Of course, as you see, has a medium body, because in islands general it's very difficult. Clients prefer to drink, for our opinion, of course, for special, of course, majority drink white, semi-sweet, or say yes, because the climate, the weather is very hot. And for this reason, someone wanted to taste, to drink white, red dry wine, prefer one wine with medium body, because we don't have weather like in your country under zero and so on, and especially during summer period. But this is one very special wine for us. And we are very happy to produce this kind of wine. For this reason, I sent to represent our winery to your country. The
Thank you.
6 euros export price. Yes. Only I wanted to add something about Samos wines. Samos wines is famous as Santorini for Kulura, from the shape of the vineyards. We, as you see in our photos that I sent it to you, we are famous for stone walls. All our island is full of stone walls, because we have high mountains and decline terroir. That means it's necessary for farmers to build stone walls to keep the soil in its position. And this is the characteristic of our islands. With few words,
Terrace,
I want Yeah. And as you understand, under this condition, it all get by hand. It's very difficult. We don't use machines. As you saw in the photos, all we do it by hand because it's very difficult to work only with small machines. So that's all. Going all by hand. Okay.
Okay,
We
thank
see
you very
what.
much, Nikki. We have to speed up, unfortunately. So you see, the Greek lives from special forces to wine, from mathematics to wine. So this
Yeah,
is
I forget the yes, yes. And the other thing that as I told you the last time, is as you see in our labels, all our labels, because we believe that wine is culture, is civilization, and for this reason, because we have many tourists and in Samos, of course, no, as in Santorini, for example, but and course, but Samos we have many thousand of tourists, and when they visit to our winery, and we have about 12, 13 with last standards, thousand people that visit us. We want to present something for our culture, and for this reason we present the genius of Pythagoras via our labels, because all our labels refers to him in different fields, either in mathematics, either in music, in astronomy, and so on. And I think we see that all people wanted to learn a little more for the visit that they, for the place that they visit. And of course, I think that it's a very good idea, and for them and for us, of course.
thank
Okay.
you, Nikki. Nikki,
Thank you.
we have to speed up as 7 p.m. in Polish time is coming, and we have
Okay.
another Pantelis waiting for the last
Yes.
winery. Thank you very much, Nikki.
Bye
Let's
bye.
stay
Bye
in
bye.
contact.
Thank you.
Bye bye, and hope to see you soon in Poland, or we come to Samos and visit you. Well, Pantelis and the last one from Lesbos.
Can you hear
Hello.
me? Hello.
Yes, I hear you and I see you.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Piotr, and hello to everyone. My name is Prodromos Paterelis. I am the son of Mr. Patelis. I am from Lesbos, and the name of the winery is Ktimainophoros. As you can see here, is Ktimainophoros is a family winery. Starts built on 2004, and it was founded at 2009. So the first bottle, the first production was on 2009. So the idea is from my father that was studying in Italy, in Tuscany, and when he was a student, he tried to make wine with other students. And this was an idea to try to make our wine. We start from our house to make family wine on 2004, 2005, and after that we try to make something like a good industry, as you can see. So we produce around 40 to 50 bottles per year, total labels. And we have 2 vineyards. One, as you can see here in Karionas, is beside Yera, is near to the capital of Lesbos, Mytilene. And the other one is in Megalochori. We provide only local grapes, local varieties, and also you can see here the vineyards that are in front of the winery. And I want to speak about our bestseller bottle, that is Daphnis and Chloe Red Dry, that you can maybe taste it right now. Is a PGE wine, and is biological. The varieties, as I told you before, There are Mandilaria, Dura, Vapsa, Focchianori, Cara. You can see also here. Is a fruity wine. Is a spicy wine. Aftertaste, and the aging of the wine is in oak barrels, 6 to 8 months. So the label of the Daphnis and Chloe is the first myth in the world of Longos, the three after Christ ancient, that Daphnis and Chloe love each other and take place in the place that the winery is built. So our bottle is here, and if you see the label like that horizontally, you can see two faces, Daphnis and Chloe, that the red wine, the red culture of wine contact them, connected them. So about the wine, is nice to taste and to drink it with red meats, maybe hard cheeses. And also I want to tell that is a visitable winery. We try to make also many tourists come during the summer, especially from Turkey, because Lesbos is beside Turkey. And also we try to make wine tastings, high quality of social events, for sure, combined with local gastronomy. I don't know if you want to ask me something else. Our aim is to try to find a wine from local varieties, because I think that this is our culture, this is our history of Lesbos.
Okay, Prodromos, tell me the price of this wine.
The price of this Daphnis and Chloe is around 12 euros in self retail, and around six and a half in to export.
Mm-hmm. Good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
One last thing that I forgot to tell you is the half of the island of Lesbos is a volcano area, and is something that we have to say about that, because as we know, also Santorini, the people that speak before than me, this is the best land, the best ground in order to try to make something good, a good vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
And about the vineyards, is around 70, 80 square meters is the hectares, I mean, like
hectares, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the comment is will come when only possible. Great wine. I believe this is this last wine. How do you like it?
It's biological, as I told you, and PG.
And PGI, yeah.
PGI.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. And the production of this wine is about how many bottles do you produce?
Around 20,000. 15 to 20,000 bottles.
15 to 20,000, depending on the vintage, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much. That's and this was on the photo. This is your family in the photo, yeah?
Yeah, the first photo. Yes, my sister, my mother, and my father and my uncle.
Sister, father, you,
mother,
sister.
and yeah, all of us.
All of you. Okay.
Yes.
Very.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Prodromos. Thank you very much. And this was the last wine for today. Maria, are you with us, perhaps? Maria Triantafilopoulos? No, she left already. Well, so this is just you, me, and people from Poland. So, Maria,
I am
back.
here.
You're here. Hello. So,
Hello.
so the Odyssey is coming to its end. We came to Ithaca, let's say.
Yeah, it
We
was
found the
pleasure
way.
for us. I would. I hope that they enjoy this presentation of the wines of the island.
I hope so. Me personally, I did. So I hope the others too. Thank you very much. Thank you
Thank
very
you all.
much. And let's stay in contact. Yeah, Petros. Hello. Yeah. We
Hello.
enjoyed it very much. We learned a lot. Yeah. Thank you.
Piotr, we want to thank you for all this effort, because it was difficult, but we did that. Okay.
We did it. We did it.
Now we know how to do not so long.
We did it, and don't forget, one day we come. One day we come. Yeah.
Okay. We
Okay,
wait for you. Thank you
folks,
all. Spiros,
great.
Vangelis.
Oh, great
Thank
wine.
you.
So
Petros.
nice comments coming. And do not forget, next week we have the Istrian Malvasia, and from Croatia. Thank you very much. And yeah, news coming. Brunello is coming 2017, and Franciacorta. Yeah, new wines. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank
Have a
you,
good night,
Maria.
everyone.
Thank you very much.
all, and hope to see you soon in Poland. One day.
Would love it. Would love to. Yeah. Thank you. Have a nice night.
Have a nice night.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.